Okay, so the video that you see on the screen here is by a Milwaukee woman, and she's basically exposing the father of her children for giving her HIV. Now, she went into the relationship with one child, and they have 3 children together. The last child, which would be her 4th child, was born last year. Now, I don't believe throughout the video she gave the ages of her children, but she did state that her and the guy have been together for about 4 years. And I believe she found out last year that she was HIV positive. So I'm going to play the video, and throughout I'm just going to come back with just some commentary based on what she's relayed to us. So
I'm going to wait until I get a few more people watching, because I'm making this video today to expose my truth. So, everybody who know me, know I have this unconditional love for my kid's father. The only one I consider my kid's father, which will be the last guy I was with, Earl. I done got pushed to my limits. But I'm doing something that I've been wanting to do since I found out. I want to expose this just so I don't feel like I'm hiding anymore. So I don't feel that I won't be worthy of people love and how people gonna treat me. I don't care no more. For all of my family and friends that are watching, here's my truth.
okay, so one thing that, well, a couple of things. I believe that given the subject matter and the seriousness of what she's discussing, I feel like her presentation should have been better. Now, I know people might say, well, she, felt like, sometimes you just feel like you get the urge that you need to get something off your chest. You need to speak about something, and people you tend to do things that are in the mood. But I feel like, given the subject matter, that her presentation should have been better. I feel like she should have been dressed and just presented herself differently. The second thing that I can say is that I wish that she would have had someone maybe keep her children, so that she was able to sit down and actually talk about the issue. Now, people, we can speculate whether or not she should have gone public about her illness. I mean, that's something, completely different. But the fact that she decided to do that, I just feel like her execution could have been better. And I don't think that her children should have been home when she sat down to do this, because you'll hear them. You're going to hear them throughout the background, throughout the course of the video. Knocking on the door. Kind of interrupting her, kind of being distracted. Her, I think she should have taken the time to get her thoughts together before sitting down to record this video.
I've been in a committed relationship with my kid's father for the last 4 years. And with that, he has infected me with HIV as of last year. So yes, I'm HIV positive. I found out right after Thanksgiving last year. I've been wanting to scream this to the mountaintops just because I feel like I'm hiding. I felt people would judge me. I felt everybody would look at me differently.
Excuse me, Mom.
I felt like I was an outcast, that I would be not worthy. But I tested the waters a little bit. And I let a couple male friends of mine know, the ones that I know that like me in that sense, just to see how they would react to me. The ones that know who likes me on that level. It didn't change how they felt. It didn't change how they looked at me. And that made me feel a little bit better about myself. They had enough maturity and wisdom to know that in 2007, with HIV, it's possible to still live a healthy life. That as long as I'm taking my medicine, it'll be very hard for me to infect someone else. I couldn't explain to y'all what mentally goes through my head. What went through my head when I went to go get a checkup while I was pregnant with my last child. To find out at first, I had a couple of STDs from my baby daddy. That, of course, made me get an HIV test. And when it came back positive, my world was crushed. I couldn't tell y'all the amount of betrayal it made me feel. But they say God give you signs, and He do. I'm telling you, people, listen, take heed. God showed me a long time ago to stop messing with my baby daddy.
Okay, so where to begin? Okay, so she found out last year that she was HIV positive. And so I don't know how long, at what point her and the guy separated. But the fact that she's having conversations with guys who are interested in her sexually just to gauge their reaction, I find somewhat inappropriate. You know, I feel like you've just been given this news. You have 4 children to raise. You know, I don't know her financial situation. I don't know if she's employed. I don't remember if she ever, disclosed whether or not she was employed or if she's receiving assistance or how she's supporting herself. But having that type of conversation with the guy, especially, so early on after receiving this diagnosis, I think is kind of poor taste. And again, as you can see, you hear the children in the background calling for her, banging on the door. She's in the bathroom, and I just feel like her whole execution was pretty bad. The next thing, when she stated that she felt, she knew a long time ago. Now, again, I don't know. She said she's been with the guy for 4 years. So at what point did you realize, when did you first realize that you should have given him the boot? Was it after the first child you had with him, the second child? Like, I'm trying to, figure out at what point did you feel like the relationship should have ended. And I think that a lot of women get into these situations, and they say hindsight is 20/20, and it's not until after, unfortunately in her case, something devastating happens that you look back and you kind of kick yourself for not following your first instinct. And I think that's because a lot of women are told that you kind of get into the habit of not trusting your instincts, because you have so many people in your ear. Oh, things are not that bad, and he seems like a good man, and people just give up so easily nowadays. Excuse me. People just give up so easily nowadays, and back in the day, people used to stay and work things out, and I just feel like you should give him another chance, and it's like it's always you get it. Like I said, you get into the habit of not trusting your instincts, and I think that women need to be more in tune with their instincts. Because when you realize your instincts, they rarely steer you wrong. If you think about it, you get a bad vibe, or you kind of get a feeling that this person means you no good. And usually in the end, your instincts were right, and you end up kicking yourself for not following them. So I think that women need to really be in tune with themselves and trust their first thought. Your first thought is usually the right thought. If she felt like she should have left the relationship a while ago, then I really wish that she had left the relationship a while ago, preferably before the other children came into the picture.
But I ignored those signs for my kids. I wanted them to continue to growing up having the same mama, same daddy. I wanted to have that foundation for them. I wanted them to grow up to look at me and their daddy and be like, damn, my mama and daddy been together forever. So when they get in a relationship, they do the same thing.
Okay, so another thing, we get so hung up on, how things should look, how we want to appear to other people. And again, it's this pressure on women to have this nuclear family. Like you have the mother and the husband and the kids, and how that kind of looks to the outside world. But obviously in this situation, and a lot of situations, people will do a great job at portraying what they think people want to see as happiness and family, but behind closed doors, you have all this turmoil and chaos. And of course, unfortunately, people don't find out. The outside world doesn't find out about it until, unfortunately, something devastating happens. And it's also this need to, there are a lot of women that stay in relationships because they feel like it's the best thing for the child, or it's the best thing for the children. And I just feel like what's best for the children is being in a happy, stable environment. And clearly this was not a happy, stable environment. And a lot of children are growing up in these situations where parents or the woman is staying in a bad situation, allegedly for the children. And the environment is toxic and it's doing more harm to the children than good. And so again, it's about, following your first instincts. You know that this is a bad situation to be in. You already had a child. Like I said, I don't know at what point, how far into the relationship did she come to this conclusion. Was it after the first child they had together? Was it after the second child they had together? But I just feel, and then, to continue to add children to a situation that's already toxic is another mistake that a lot of women make. And so before you turn around and you realize that, back when you had the one child, it would have been a lot easier for you to walk away. And so now you turn around and now you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, and obviously at this point, it's almost impossible for you to leave this situation because you've put yourself in a situation where you cannot, in most cases, financially afford to leave. So I really think that people need to stop putting emphasis on how relationships look or how relationships appear to be happy and healthy, and put more focus on relationships actually being happy and healthy and cultivating healthier environments in which they bring children. Stop trying to have children to save a relationship or to quote unquote trap an individual. And this is for men and women, because there's this misconception that women trap men with children, but somehow men don't trap women with children. So children don't make things better. They tend to kind of exaggerate the issues that were already there. So we need to focus on getting our situations right before we bring children into the situation.
Y'all probably hear my kids in the background. I'm in the bathroom to get a little bit of privacy. But I stuck with my baby daddy even after. I felt it was a comfort level. But to know that he gave me HIV and still deal with him, still bend over backwards, still love him with no limitations, still do whatever I could for him, for whatever he needed. And for today, even after getting out of jail, God revealed to me that he's still being unfaithful.
Okay, so you heard that. Now, even after the cheating, even after him exposing her to HIV, she still stayed with this man. Again, I can kind of understand where she was coming from with that, because she probably feels like at this point she's damaged goods. Like, even if she was to leave him, like, who would take on the responsibility of being, of a woman being HIV positive, along with being a mother of 4? And so a part of me understands kind of why she stayed, but another part of me is saying, I'm still saying I really wish she would have followed her first instinct and left when it would have been easier for her to do so. And the fact that she's saying he just got out of jail. So is this a situation where you have this guy who's been in and out of jail and he's been, having experiences behind bars, or is he just that promiscuous with women, or what that situation is? I don't believe she went into that type of detail of how he contracted the disease, or if he ever even disclosed to her how he contracted the disease. But another thing, dealing with these men who are in and out of prison, I mean, this is, where this being a whole ride or die chick can come back to bite you in the ass, basically. I just think that women, like I said, again, you really need to follow your first instinct, and you really need to have the courage to know when to leave these situations and when to walk away. We really need to get, especially young women who are growing up and they're seeing older women in these situations. And I think older women should do a better job of kind of pulling the younger women, young girls, by their collars, and especially if you see them going down the wrong road, and kind of try to pull them back and kind of educate them. And I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of older women, I did it, so you can do it too. So I was a single mother and I made it through. So I don't see what the problem is. It's like this cognitive dissonance. You know how difficult your life was based on the choices that you've made, and you see a young lady going down that same path, and for some reason, instead of stopping her and saying, or not, I wouldn't say stop her, because people, you make up your own mind, but at least try to pull her collar and educate her so she could potentially make a different choice. You kind of just watch her wander down that road, and 4 or 5 years dealing with the same guy, then she ends up on YouTube making a video about how horrible a mistake it was. So I'm just going to continue.
He's still out here having sex with people. I woke up with finding a used condom with semen in it on my bathroom floor. Infuriated is not even a word to describe what I felt. First thing came to mind is, what if my kids would have picked it up and put their mouth on it?
So this guy is not only cheating on her, still cheating on her while being HIV positive. And you have to, if he didn't even disclose to the woman that he's been with for 4 years and has 4 children with, that he's HIV positive, you know that if he's still out here sleeping around, he's not disclosing his HIV status. And the fact that he would have some dalliance in an apartment that they share with their children, and didn't even have enough care for his children to properly dispose of a used condom, that it was just on the floor. So again, I feel bad for her. I really feel bad for the children, because they're the real victims here. They have 2 parents who just on both ends just made poor decisions. They've just made poor decisions.
They would have got exposed to the virus. But for somebody to be so careless, to even bring that home. I knew he used to be unfaithful in the past. God showed me that. But I stuck around anyway, because I at least thought he was at least protecting us. At least.
Okay, how well was he protecting you? A lot of, again, we get into these relationships with these fantasies that these guys are going to be our knight in shining armor and shield and protect us from all evil, but eventually you come to realize that the person you need protection from is the very person you thought was there to protect you. And in this case, she felt like this guy, even with all of his indiscretion, she still felt like he was somehow protecting her. And I just thought, in what way? Like, she didn't, I don't think she elaborated on what she considered to be protective behavior. But clearly were accounted when it came down to her health and the health of her children and well-being. Clearly he dropped the ball in that area. in that area.
Was it true? God will continue to allow you to be with people that He's trying to show you that is not meant for you. But He will allow you to continue to be with them until you can't take it no more. And that condom on my bathroom floor, that was the straw that broke this camel's back.
So it wasn't, again, the multiple indiscretions. It wasn't the STDs. It wasn't the HIV. It was the used condom on the bathroom floor. So we just need to take a minute and think about that. That was the straw that broke the camel's back? Okay.
Please don't ask me why I stayed with him after finding out. Again, it was a comfort level. It was a comfort thing. This is who I can be completely open to. This is who I was still able to have sex without having to use a condom, without having to use protection, because I knew he was taking his meds just like I was taking mine.
Okay, just because somebody's taking HIV, taking medication, people need to understand that there are different strains of the virus. So if he's taking his medication but he's still engaging in promiscuous behavior, it's quite easy for him to become reinfected with a different strain of the virus. So I think that people need to get out of this mindset just because someone's taking their medication regularly that somehow protects them from contracting another strain or just other STDs. So, okay.
So I stayed with him after him giving me HIV. So yes, me, Winona Thomas, all of you that know me, some of you know me as Nunu. I am HIV positive. And I want y'all to know, be careful, please. This is nothing y'all want to deal with. It eats you alive, literally, mentally, emotionally. I hate thinking about it. For all y'all who wonder what my reality or my fantasy world was, it's a world where I don't face my reality because my reality is harsh. I didn't do nothing wrong but love somebody. I created a family with this man. My kids, all my kids are by him. Even my oldest, who is not biologically his, he's all my son know as a dad. I was faithful. I bent over backwards. People that know me know my kids come first, but my priorities do too. I'm blessed to have another roof over my house, but I'm always used to having my own. I have a car. I got a single family home. My kids each have their own room. Food stay in my refrigerator and my cabinets. My newborn, thank God, I thank him so much. My baby was born without the virus, even though he was conceived and I had it and I didn't know. My kids are HIV negative, even though my last baby, I don't understand it because I would presume since I conceived him HIV positive that he came out HIV positive, but he didn't. So I'm making this video because I want everybody to know I feel like I'm hiding. I'm hiding within myself. And I'm not. I don't want to hide. Y'all can label me whatever y'all want, but the ones that know, that been knew, I thank y'all for not treating me no differently. I thank y'all for understanding that I was a victim. It wasn't like I was out in these streets hoeing and being a prostitute and just fucking all these different type of men, got 4 kids and 4 different baby daddies. I wasn't doing that. I've been in a committed relationship with this man for 4 years. My last 3 kids, I've been pregnant for the last 3 years, is by him. Mommy give you fruit snack in a minute, okay? Go put your drawers on, please. And go sit down and watch the movie. Go, Keisha. I'm telling you, Sometimes when you think you found the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams, can actually be the man or woman of your nightmare.
You know, this kind of lays out. It's like we're moving farther and farther away from family and commitment, and we just have this kind of laissez-faire attitude towards sex and intimacy and king or whatever, what it's like, do whatever suits your fancy, and there's rarely any thought of the consequences for that behavior. I mean, she did make a good point that you have a lot of women who believe that they're in these monogamous relationships, and unfortunately it's not until either the side piece hits them up on Instagram or Facebook or has the gall to come to their door, or it's not until something happens that they realize that this fantasy, this idea of what they thought they had with this guy, it's just all a facade. Like, it's like you're in a committed relationship, but he's not, and his behavior is like this disconnect between his behavior and how it impacts you. And recently D.L. Hughley came out and talked about his indiscretions and how it resulted in a pregnancy, and unfortunately, tragically, the child was killed. And it wasn't until later that he actually broke down and told his wife about this. And it's like, I think men really believe that the things that they do only impact them. Sometimes I get that impression, like they feel like, okay, they're having this fling with some broad or for some woman or some guy, because we have a lot of that going on too, and they feel like, oh, it's just something that they're doing, but there's rarely any consideration for how what they're doing is impacting the people at home, their wives, their children, the people that love and trust them. And in this case, again, she admitted that she knew that he knew of his indiscretions and stayed anyway. But, a lot of women don't know. They really believe that they're in these committed monogamous relationships, and they find out usually in the most horrific way, and humiliating way, that what they thought they had was, in fact, wasn't what they had. So, again, I feel bad for her, and again, I still have to go back. I wish she would have followed her first instinct and would have just walked away when she had the chance. But again, hindsight is 20/20.
I love him. I still love him. I won't even get on here and say I don't love him no more. I do. But while he was in jail, and I exposed my truth to very few, just to see what type of reaction I would get, I found love for myself. Again, I love me. I love every part of me. I love me for who I am.
Okay, that's another thing about when you're dealing, especially with black women and self-esteem. And it's like, everywhere you turn, you're told that you're lacking in some way. You're not good enough. You're too dark. You're too fat. You're too loud. You're too aggressive. You're too unfeminine. You're not submissive enough. It's no matter where you turn and no matter what decision you make, it seems to be the wrong decision. Case in point, me being 30 something, single and childless, and people kind of give you the side eye, like, okay, well, what's wrong with you? Why don't you have children? And then you say, okay, well, because I'm not married. And they're like, oh, especially in the black community, like because marriage for some is not. For some reason, that's not the first thought that people think about before having children. It's like we get into these relationships, we shack up for however many years, the children come, and it's not until after the kids that people, if ever, make it down the aisle. And that's rare. How many families do we know? How many people do we know women do we know that lived with a man for years, raised families, and their goal was to eventually be married, but I mean, it's like, the guy's kind of like, okay, well, we've already been living together, we've already been laying up, having sex, and we've already had kids, and we've already bought homes, and we've already, have investments and our retirements, and we have joint bank accounts, and we already have everything that a married couple would have, and now he's like, okay, well, what would be the point? And I don't think a lot of women put much stock in that. It's like you give all the benefits of marriage to a person that you just sleeping with, and that's basically what it is. And so I've gotten into discussions with women about, and especially young girls, about moving in with guys. I am adamantly against people living together and not without being married, and I tell them that. And especially when they're start talking about they're moving in or they're thinking about moving in with a guy, I'm just like, don't do that. I think that people need to maintain their own living arrangements. They need to maintain their own bank accounts. They need to maintain their own finances, their job, the employment, until a wedding happens, and that's when you guys come together and you do the investments, like buying the home and the joint bank accounts and the vehicles, and you're deciding on the children and education, and that's when you come together and you do those things. In the Black community, we tend to pull the cart before the horse. We do everything, and then we come back, I'm sorry if you heard my phone ringing, and then we try to backtrack and then make it down the aisle. So,
for my kids, I love who I am for them. I love what I'm able to do for them. But most importantly, I fell back in love with me. And that's all the love I need is my love, knowing that God got me when nobody else do. Nobody. My kids got me, and I got my family behind my back. And they ain't stepped not one foot short since it came out. My family has been there. And I love y'all for that. My mama, Gigi, Netta, Marquise, Dion, Tyra, Jasmine, Trey, Day, Daddy, Tiffany, Coco, Grandma, Jill, Shakira, Akila. I love y'all. Dora, Danielle, I love y'all. Y'all ain't treat me no different. Mike, Wanda, Brittany, Melda, Dennis, Mike. I can go on. Scooby, Kiara. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for not treating me no differently. Destiny, Sarah, my godmama, Shay, Gigi, Tashana. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I swear from the bottom of my heart.
she named quite a few women, and I know that she had to have been complaining about the relationship she had with this guy for a while. And I'm always curious to hear the advice that she was given. And it usually goes something like, oh, again, like I said at the beginning, oh, you have a good guy. Oh, he's just, that's just what men do. And you shouldn't take it personal. And it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. And, people don't know how to work things out nowadays. The first sign of trouble, people give up. And people walk away and give that man a chance. And on and on and on and on and on. And so, again, further encouraging women to not trust their first instinct. And, I really wish that all of these people that she's, named in this video, I wonder how many of them told her to throw in the towel. Not, I got to be fair. So I want to know what percentage of them encouraged her to stay in a relationship with this guy, and the percentage that actually told her, girl, just leave, walk away, leave him. He ain't ... whatever, whatever, adjective you want to put in there. It's not worth it. He doesn't really care about you, which obviously by his actions he doesn't. And I mean, that would be an interesting discussion. When in the description box, if you've ever had relationship issues, and if you can think about the number of people that encouraged you to stay and the number of people that encouraged you to leave, and how that everything turned out for you in the end. If you could list that in the description box, that would be great. So I'm going to continue on.
Everybody say I done went MIA, but I have my reasons. I was real sick. My levels were so low for so long. I'm just not getting healthy. Know that I got this virus. No, I'm not losing weight. My ass is gaining. My hair not gone. It got wet, but it's here. It's growing. Edges back like they never left. My health is getting so much better, and I'm exposing my ugly truth. Just cause I've been wanting to do it for so long. I want people that see me to know this is me. This is my truth, and I'm living in it. I love me. I love who I've become. I love who I'm still to become. I love me. I don't know why it happened to me. I really don't think I deserved it, but God doesn't give you more than what you can bear, and evidently I must be able to bear this pain and this weight, because I'm doing it. I'm doing it for my babies. They're who I live for. It's scary at times when I get sick. I get sick. But I bounce back. And I know that man up above got me, y'all. He got me like no other. I just really wish people stop calling for anything. I was this man's fool. I was his fool for 4 years, knowing he was unfaithful, knowing he wasn't loyal, knowing he didn't have that much respect for me. I was his fool and continue to be to this day. But today made a new day. That condom on my bathroom floor, when I got this house by myself, when I got my truck by myself, when I buy my kids clothes and pampers and wipes and all their household necessities and all their food by myself, to wake up with a condom on my floor by someone who gave me HIV.
So again, she didn't disclose how she makes a living or how she supports herself and her kids. But again, you have these women who, for all intents and purposes, have their stuff together. And it's not until they get into these relationships with these guys that their lives fall apart. And, again, we need to be realistic. Things happen in life. I feel like, there's normal stress that people experience in relationships. Job loss, illness, you have issues with the kids. But I'm just a firm believer that the stress and the heartache and drama in your life should not be caused by the person sleeping next to you. That should not be the case. And I'm not saying that person has to be perfect. But when you're talking about infidelity and STDs and things that impact, in her case, this is going to impact her health and well-being for the rest of her life. And this was inflicted on her by someone who she cared about, who didn't care about her. And it sounds like this is a situation where you had a guy who was an opportunist. He probably saw this lady who at one point in time had it all together. And she had this kid. And she was probably like, okay, he seemed like a decent guy. He seemed like he's going to stay. She never mentioned what happened with the father of her first child, which is her son, her oldest. But he probably saw her, this single mother, with this kid, and like, oh, she's probably looking for a father figure for this child. And you probably have a guy who was an opportunist. Because clearly, if she's doing all that and she's been doing all that, then what was he doing? And then earlier she said that he was protecting her. Okay, but if you were doing all that, how was he protecting you? So I think that we really need to be realistic about the situations that we find ourselves in. And really just take a step back. When she said that, I thought, okay, well, if you're doing all that, how was he protecting you? What exactly did this man bring to your life? except saddle you with 4 kids and unfortunately HIV. Well, 3 additional kids and HIV.
That was the camel that broke his back. Pick him up. It was the camel that broke his back. Because I felt I stuck my neck out to still continue to be with this person after they gave me a terminal illness. I still sat here and showed him the type of love that I have, the type of woman that I am. That if we was to be married, it was death till us do us part. I still even felt without us being married with our condition, it's to death. But you know what? I love myself too much to sit here and keep getting mistreated, to get misused. When I know my heart is pure and I just want love, I just want happiness.
You hear that child? She said, we just said what? The baby said what? And she said, oh my God. See, this is what I was saying about the distractions, about her execution of making this video. Like I said, those kids, they should have been somewhere else. They should have been somewhere else.
I can't see myself keep letting somebody walk over me. It's a saying, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything, and I'll be damned if I continue to fall. I was his fool, even to this day as we speak. But I ain't nobody fool no more. If any fool I'm going to be for, it's going to be for Elijah, Jaquan, Keisha, Shakira, and Greg. I'll be they fool, and they fool only.
I don't think you should have named her. I'm assuming those are the children. I'm not sure she probably should not have mentioned her children in the video, their names. I wouldn't have done that, but okay.
But I can't be his fool no more. I gotta be a living example. I got 3 boys that I gotta raise.
She has 3 sons who have witnessed this man act a fool with their mother. And I mean, just in the comment section, do you think that that's not going to have an impact on those boys and how they view relationships and how they view women and how they view their role in relationships with women? Wow. And obviously she has a daughter. She has 4 children. She has 3 boys. That means that she has a daughter who has also seen how this all played out. And I just feel like, do you think that she's going to be able to raise this little girl to have standards and boundaries and have a backbone and to be able to put her foot down when she needs to, or up if she needs to? Because, given how this whole situation is played out with this man. So, it's going to be interesting to see going forward what kind of values she's going to be able to instill in her children as time goes on. And how, she gets a whole, handle on her illness. How she's going to be able because at some point she's going to sit down and have a conversation with the kids about what's going on with her, especially her health. And, the only thing that we can do at this point is hope that, she's able to live long, to raise them, to see them grow up and hopefully see their own, start their own families. I mean, it's a bad situation. It's just a horrible situation.
To be men, to know what a real man is, to know how to be a man and have responsibility and call themselves being the head of anybody's household. They're going to know how to respect and care for a woman. And my daughter, I pray she be just like me. I ain't trying to brag on myself, but I'm one independent woman. I don't ask for handouts. I don't need a nigga for nothing. Because I got my house. Shit, since I was 18, I've got my houses, my cars, my clothes, my necessities, my wants.
And yet, she was still hungry for something because you spent 4 years with a guy that you should have never been with. So, when you say that you hope that your daughter is just like you, I'm kind of giving the side eye on that because I feel like we do a very good job again at portraying what we think people expect of us. This version of what people expect of us, the strong, independent, don't care, don't need nobody attitude, and then we end up in situations like this, which completely goes against that persona that we're trying to portray. So again, if you had all of this, you had things going on, you had your life together, your finances together, your homes, your cars, this, that, and the third, but yet you still felt there was something missing from your life, which is why you got with this guy to begin with, and you stayed with him even after everything that he had put you through. So, I mean, part of that I can't say is her fault, but another part of that is socialization, because again, you kind of beat over the head with, you got to stay, you got to work things out, give a brother a chance, brother has potential, you're kind of beat over the head and socialized to kind of put up with a lot. As I don't know if that makes sense, but so partly I do blame her for not leaving, but another part I understand the socialization, how we're socialized.
By myself. I grind and I get this. I make way out of nowhere. And when I can't, God got me. And then when he don't got me, my mama got me. My Gigi got me. My sister-in-law got me. My daddy got me. My sisters or my cousins-in-law, friends that are family, they got me. And I appreciate it. But in all, I got me. And I got these kids. I'ma always have them. Call me crazy for putting my truth out on the open and on Facebook. I'm crazy. So be it. But I'm me. And I ain't never been nothing short of real. Like me or love me. I don't need nobody opinions. This is what y'all can do with y'all opinions. Because y'all opinions ain't going to pay for my kids. It's not going to pay my rent. It's not going to make sure they're straight. Period. So any negativity, motherfuckers can miss me with that. Because I'm still going to prosper. Ain't no weapon that has been formed against me will prosper. Period.
You see the baby in the daggone video. So not only have you, I'm assuming the names that she listed earlier were the names of the children. You have their faces on, at least this one here, his face all up in the camera. So again, her execution just leaves much to be desired. Okay.
None. Not even this HIV virus.
Excuse me, Mom. You don't want to be.
I'm fighting for my kids' future to the death of me, my niggas. Period.
He want a bottle.
Pick him up, he just ate. I'm fighting. And I'm fighting for these little ones behind me. Till I take that last breath. If it's HIV that take me out, I just pray God let me make sure they straight when I go. That's it. When I found out, I wanted to off myself right then and there. And him too. He was going to be the first one before I shot myself. But then where that would have left my kids? Parentless.
Okay, I'm just going.
They don't deserve that. And I still try to give them what I thought they deserved. But I'm a very true believer of reality. No matter how much I wanted my kids to grow up with the same father and same mother, that's not my reality. My reality is life deals you the hands it wants you to deal with.
I wonder if she looked into pressing charges against the guy, against the father of her children. I didn't do any research on laws in Milwaukee. If it's a felony to knowingly pass HIV, and do we even know that he when he found out that he had the virus? I'm assuming, I don't know. Maybe he found out after she got tested and found out, and she brought it to his attention. So we don't even know if he was even aware that he had the virus, but I'm assuming that since she's had it, he's known. And you can best believe that he's still out. What did they say on the Braxtons? Laying it low and spreading it wide. Okay, so I think that she needs to get together with some of his other victims, okay, in quotation, I'm putting in air quotes, and they need to get together and look at the laws in their state as it pertains to HIV and knowingly spreading HIV.
I was dealt my hand. The man that I want as my only children father, and the one that I only wanted in my household and my kids to see get raised upon with, is not the man for me. I thank the men that I did tell that liked me on that level, that know my truth, and didn't treat me no different. Still trying to talk to me. Still wanted to holler at me on that level. I thank them. They had enough wisdom and knowledge to know. Just because I got this virus, don't mean I'll give it to you. I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. And whoever comes in my future. All let me know I can find love again. There's somebody out there that'll love me. They'll love me. But even if they don't, I love myself. I love myself enough. I don't need another man's love.
Okay, not to sound negative or anything, but how many people think that the guy that she said she had this conversation with, who was still interested in her that way, how many people just believe that he's not another opportunist that's going to probably trying to get with her for what they feel that they can get out of it? Because, she's saying she got her money and her cars and her homes and her home. So what's the caliber of the guys that she's having these conversations with that's telling her that the fact that she's HIV positive and has 4 children is not a deal breaker? Just a question.
My kids and my family, and more importantly, God's love is all I need. Call it crazy. Call me this God worshiper, whatever. But he's what gets me through. I cry when no one's around. I'm crying to y'all so y'all know. Please be careful. Regardless of who you with and how long you've been with them, stay tested. Because you never know what they doing. But even if you got some little sis that they unfaithful, go get tested. Please. I'm telling you. I'm late taking my medicine now. And I will show y'all just so y'all know this is no bullshit. So anybody on my friends list, and I will be taking this to the whole Milwaukee, so I can let the whole Milwaukee know. Earl Jaquan McDougal, my kid's father, who I've been with for 4 years, infected me with HIV. I'm going to show you a little something. Right now, these are the only 2 I have to take for the rest of my life. But while I was pregnant, one moment. Oh, you know what? While I was pregnant, and I got more somewhere else. These is just 4 out of the 6 bottles I had to take while I was pregnant. Look them up. Look at them. Look them up. Look at them. Same thing, Tivicay. This is Truvada. Now this medicine right here.
Now, I've heard of Truvada. I think a lot of people have been talking about that as a way of preventing. It doesn't stop the spread of HIV, but it does help to prevent the spread. It does help to, if a person is HIV positive, it helps to prevent them spreading it to another individual. And if an individual who is HIV negative who is taking the medication, it's supposed to help prevent contracting the disease. So I've think that that's the purpose of Truvada. I think.
That Truvada, I recommend for everyone, whether you HIV positive or not. That right there is the medicine that will help me not only suppress my virus, but make it also so hard for me to pass it on to anybody else. It protects you better than a condom will. So it's people out here that's taking them that don't even have the virus. That's what they're really for, to protect you.
Okay, PSA, use the Truvada in concert with a condom. Please, I don't care what you're taking that you think is going to make it difficult for the HIV virus to spread, please use a condom, and please, people need to focus more on committed monogamous relationships and stop making excuses for men and their promiscuity. This has to stop. And remember, Truvada is only intended to prevent the spread of HIV. It does not help to prevent the spread of gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, or whatever the hell else is out there. So please use a condom in concert with Truvada. If your insurance covers that and you're able to get that, a lot of people are saying that it's a good medication for people to have.
Sometimes them condoms won't. Sometimes the motherfuckers break. They come off. But that Truvada gonna get you. You go to the doctor regularly, ask your doctor about them. Whether you HIV or positive or not, I recommend you take Truvada. Take it. But again, this is my ugly truth. But with all my ugliness, look behind me. I'm blessed. I got a single family home. This is me and my kids' shit. This is our shit. Mine. I did it on my own. After being homeless. After finding out that I had this illness. It was a reason why I couldn't work. Because I used to be so tired. I used to pass out so easily. And I thought it was just my pregnancy. But it's not. It was the virus, and it was being untreated. I didn't know I had it. My son had it. Excuse him. But this is our home. We are able to call this our own. Thanks to who? That man up above and they mama. Mommy did this. This is mommy's doing. And I'm going to keep doing it. And this ain't shit. This ain't nothing. This is what people supposed to have. I'm striving for better and more. They're going to have more. My boys are going to have more. My boys are going to know what it is to be able to stand on your own, to be able to provide, to know what a real man is. This HIV ain't stopping shit. It ain't stopping nothing. I'm still gonna have niggas in my DM. I'm still gonna have niggas hollering at me. Why? I'm an independent woman. I don't need no handouts. I don't need a man to do nothing for me. I take care of all 4 of my kids by myself. I maintain. Yes, I struggle. Everybody struggle. I ain't trying to hear it. Everybody struggle on their own different levels. But like I said, in the end, long as God got me, I'm good. I ain't got no bro.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay.
But like I said, I done gained weight.
Again, okay, so the baby's walking around naked, good Lord. And, okay.
Gaining weight. I'm mad, because I'm getting big. Mama. But at the same time, my doctors and them, they like it. It lets me know my health is inclining and not declining. But when you realize your worth, what you deserve, how good you are, when the after you done gave them chances after chances after chances, and you find that worth again, baby, bye. Simple packing. Gotta go. I was doing bad by myself. I'm gonna continue to do bad by myself. You hear me? So, for anybody that wanna feel different, treat me different. Look at me different. Label
Lord, listen to the baby.
me differently. Please. I'm asking you. Unfriend me.
You hear the baby?
Don't speak to me. Keep your negative comments to yourself, but keep it pushing. Because I'm going to say it again for people that are just getting on. I, Winona Thomas, is HIV positive. When they say love can kill you, or it will, man, it's the truth. It's the truth. I got my health taken away from me for being in love. I love the man that I just was pregnant by for 3 years. It'll never go away. I will always have to take these medicines for the rest of my life. But it's gonna be okay. So for all of you that my bomb-ass baby daddy or sperm donor, what I call him, done told, Big B, and everybody else who call themselves sneak dissing and call themselves going around telling people I got HIV, I'm telling you out there on horses mouth himself. It's true. I have HIV. You ain't gotta fuck with me. You ain't gonna make more break me. I'm still gonna be good. My kids are still gonna be taken care of. Bills are still gonna get paid. I'm still gonna prosper. Will no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Period. These little ones, say hi, mama. This one, say
Lord,
hi.
the baby's face is all in the camera.
Naked nappy head behind me.
Oh, my God, girl.
Look, Gregory, baby G, they gonna be fine. They mama got them, and I'm hot.
Okay. Obviously, based on looking at this video, it's obvious that I don't know if she's ever been treated for mental illness or something. I mean, I don't know her story. I don't, from the names that she named about, these individuals who have been supportive of her since her diagnosis. I mean, where were these people when she, before she got herself into this situation? Where were these people? I just feel like there's a sense of either delusion or cognitive dissonance of the situation she's in. I don't know. I didn't write anything down. I just turned on the camera and started recording. So I'm just, sometimes I'm just at a loss for words.
Yes, I'm sweating. I ain't in the rooms with my AC at. I'm trying to get away from these kids. But we gonna be good. Today was another day I have to mark in my calendar. I finally let that man go. I let him go. I had to send him packing. It hurts to a certain extent, but I can't keep dwelling on his hurt. Because he don't never dwell on mine. Because if he did, even after giving me HIV, he wouldn't still be hurting me. He'll be doing everything in his power to try to make up for the damage that he caused. But that's not the case. He still want to go out, still want to fuck with motherfuckers. And I'll be honest with y'all. A tranny is involved. The tranny said he gave it to him. That my baby daddy gave it to the tranny. I believe the tranny gave it to him. I don't know who gave it to who. All I know, I got it in the end. There's still inboxes from trannies in his inbox. Bitches. Another woman he gave it to, he claimed it's who the condom this morning that I found was for. I don't believe it, but even if it is, hey, he y'all problem now. I can't. I have to stand on my 10 toes and pull my big girl panties up and accept. I'm gonna be a single parent. Hopefully he still can be a father and still help out with his kids, but even if he can't, they good. I got them. I had him while he was just in jail. Makes you think I won't continue to do it. So, again, this was to expose my ugly truth and to make everyone that I love aware. Please, get tested. Stay tested. I don't care how much you love a person, how much you think a person loves you. Get tested and stay tested. Because being with this man for 4 years, not once have I thought he would give me HIV. We have a past. Before I had my first child, I was also with this man back in 2010. So it's not like, oh, I left my sperm donor and got with some new nigga and didn't know this nigga. No, I knew him. We had a good relationship back in 2010. That's what made me kind of go back. It was one of my good ones. But as I got to be with him, as the years came, as the time went past, I got to know who he truly was. And again.
Okay, so what was the nature of their relationship back in 2010? Was it a romantic relationship? Was it a friendship? Was it a friends with benefits kind of relationship? Because she's saying that over the last 4 years, she's only gotten to know who the man really is. So at least we believe, like, what kind of relationship did she have with him in 2010?
God will show you signs. You don't take heed, that's going to be on you. Because he's going to keep letting them people hurt you until you can't take it no more. This man has did all the damage that he possibly could. But guess what? I'm still able to smile. Gapping off. I'm still able to laugh. I'm still able to give these little munchkins a reason to smile. I have a reason to wake up and smile. I'm here. He didn't kill me. He killed me, but he didn't kill me. My spirit's still here. This body's still moving. I'm still able to do everything that I was able to do before I contracted it. So all my family, all my friends, I love y'all. I love everybody that loves me. And even if you don't, still got love for you. Still ask God to wrap his arms around everyone and cover everybody in the blood of Jesus. For those that know him and those that don't, especially the ones that are lost, find him. He's real. And that's all I gotta say for now. I gotta get under this air. I'm hot. My phone battery getting low. I got plenty to do. But with that being said, today has marked a new day for me. I had to let go. And I'm letting God. And I'm going to do this. It's going to be hard. It was hard when he was locked up. But I know it's going to be a little harder that I got to eliminate him out of my personal life. He can still be in my life as far as these kids. But as my personal life, my heart, my body, I can't do it no more. He still wants these streets. He got them. So, I love all those that love me. For everyone who think I've been distant, MIA, ain't really fucked with nobody, funny acting, I'm not. I do have a lot to deal with. I did almost lose my newborn a couple months ago. He was this close to being dead. No, again, for those who are just getting on, he does not have the virus. He is healthy. But he did have something that almost took him away.
Excuse me, Mom.
Yes. No, wait, I'm finna get him.
Okay.
But my mother duties called. So I have to get off.
Yeah.
I will be MIA for a little bit for some people, just so y'all know. I am in my feelings.
Hey.
I am still hurting.
Mama.
I hated to see him walk down them streets. But again, he didn't hate my hurt. So I can't dwell on his pain. Because he wasn't dwelling on mine. And so whoever you with, please be careful. I don't care how much you love them and how much you think they may love you. The devil comes in all disguises. Don't forget he was a fallen angel at one point in time too. So until next time, I'm signing off. Hopefully my ugly truth can let someone open their eyes and live in theirs. Because now, I'm loving my truth. I love me.
Okay, so apparently the baby daddy made a response video, but I haven't seen that video, but I will go in and watch that, and I may come back with some commentary. Okay, so that was Winona Thomas's mother of four from Milwaukee's testimony regarding the father of her 3 children giving her HIV. I really want the takeaway from this would be for women, please trust your first instinct. Your instincts like I said before, your instincts rarely steer you wrong. And if your instincts are telling you that this is a bad situation for you to be in, chances are they're right. They're right. You know, she stated before, earlier in the video, she'd been with the guy for years, and she knew some time ago that she should have let it go, and then revealed later in the video that she'd had some type of relationship with a man in 2010, and it seemed like he was a decent person. Again, that at least, you know, the questions, what kind of relationship did she have with the guy? Because then she revealed that she basically really didn't know him, you know, so what was the nature of their relationship in 2010 that here now in 2017 you've finally realized who this person really is. So I do feel bad for her. I feel bad for her children. And okay, you know, she revealed that he had a proclivity for transsexuals. Leads me to believe if he's the kind of guy who's been in and out of jail, did this appetite appear while he was behind bars, or is this something that he's always been into? Again, how well did she get to know this guy in 2010? So again, ladies, trust your instincts. Always love yourself more than you love somebody else, which means getting tested. You and your partner are going to get tested often. Look into Truvada. Again, it is said to protect the person who is HIV positive from spreading the virus, and it's also said to protect the person that's HIV negative from contracting the virus. But always, always, always use condoms, because nothing is 100% foolproof except abstinence. You know, again, Truvada is not designed to protect you from chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and other STDs, STIs, or whatever else is out there. So please protect yourself. Always love yourself more than you love someone else. And again, trust your instincts. So I am going to end this video here. Please leave your comments in the comments section, and I will see you guys in the next video.